A sudden confession from Taehyung managed to shake the global fanbase. An inevitable question arose. Behind the smile, the grand stage, and the simple celebrations, is Jungkook actually carrying a deep pressure rarely known to the public? And further still, has HYBE all this time played a role in creating distance, forcing decisions, even forgetting the humanity of an artist who has become the backbone of BTS? ARMY has long been accustomed to seeing the close relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung as a picture of genuine intimacy. However, when Taehyung chose the Paradise Art Night moment to explicitly mention Jungkook's name, many at first thought it was only a form of friendly support. Yet, the more the fragment was analyzed, the more questions arose. Why did Taehyung feel the need to deliver that message on an international stage? Why did it seem as if there was a hidden intent directed not only at the public, but also at certain parties? The biggest surprise came when a small fact, previously overlooked, was finally highlighted. Jungkook's birthday almost never received official recognition from the company. No public greetings, no celebration provided by management. Even though Jungkook is a figure with extraordinary contribution to BTS's global reputation. How could a megastar with such influence be left as if meaningless when his personal moment arrived? This question raised serious suspicions among ARMY. Did HYBE deliberately create a certain narrative by suppressing or even erasing Jungkook's personal side from the grand stage of BTS? Taehyung seemed to fully realize this situation. His words at the international event were not just friendly small talk, but a code, a message only those perceptive could grasp. He mentioned Jungkook in the middle of the event, so the world could see the bitter truth long hidden, that an idol, no matter how great, can be ignored by a system that values only financial contribution. How could a human who gives everything be seen as nothing more than a money-making machine? This question pierced, hurt, and made ARMY all over the world feel betrayed. The drama grew when Jungkook himself seemed unable to hold back tears. In his simple birthday celebration, right in front of Taehyung, he poured out his heart. His eyes, wet with tears, were not only a sign of emotion, but could be read as a symbol of piled-up pressure. What did he actually say to Taehyung then? What messages did he entrust that made Taehyung feel obliged to bring them into the public sphere? ARMY began to wonder, was Jungkook's crying a form of silent resistance? Had he been pressured all this time by unilateral decisions arranged by management? And more importantly, was Taehyung the only trusted witness to deliver that secret burden? The fact that Jungkook chose Taehyung as a support sparked major speculation that something wanted to be revealed, but was blocked by greater power. This situation created a moral dilemma. If even Jungkook could be treated negligently, what about the other members? Is there a similar pattern behind the scenes, a strategy to control the narrative and maintain a certain image, even if it means sacrificing the humane side of the artists? ARMY felt left to dig their own answers from fragments of events, as if the company deliberately left this puzzle hanging to stir curiosity. But if so, who truly benefits? The artists who lose control, or the industry reaping profit from repeated controversies? The tension was strengthened by the fact that Taehyung did not casually mention Jungkook's name. He chose a strategic moment, before an international audience, so his message could not be ignored. If it were meant only internally, he could have said it backstage. But the decision to express it publicly proved that something bigger was at stake. ARMY quickly caught the signal that the message was both a form of protection and a criticism toward those who had remained silent. The greatest irony lay in the contradiction that appeared. BTS is a celebrated global name, yet behind it there is potential injustice experienced by an individual. Jungkook, dubbed the Golden Magne and the global face, instead felt neglect on a personal moment that should be simple but meaningful. How could happiness as small as a birthday be ignored? Was this mere negligence, or a planned strategy to suppress the dominance of a certain member? When Jungkook cried before Taehyung, the tears seemed the most honest, non-verbal language. Tears that could not be censored, controlled, or fabricated. In that moment, there was a message louder than words, a plea to be seen as human, not just an icon. Taehyung, with his sensitivity, chose not to let that message vanish. He delivered it in his own way, making the world ask, what truly happens behind HYBE's high walls? ARMY now stands in a difficult position, between wanting to believe all is well, or facing the bitter truth that their idol may truly be under pressure. The suspicion that HYBE always forces its artists to follow certain narratives grows harder to avoid. Small evidence like the neglected birthday, Taehyung's words at an international event, and Jungkook's unending tears all merge into a horrifying puzzle. The question now grows sharper. Is HYBE truly trying to erase Jungkook's personal side to preserve the group's image? Are they pressing down on member closeness so the larger narrative stays controlled? And is the message Jungkook entrusted to Taehyung the final proof that something is being resisted, albeit silently? This article is not merely about a birthday or a sentimental moment. It is a portrait of how a human, also a global icon, can become a victim of a system that prioritizes profit. If even Jungkook can be treated that way, what about other artists who may not wield as much influence? That question now hangs in ARMY's minds, demanding answers that never come. As discourse about Jungkook's hidden message revealed by Taehyung spreads, the public faces a great dilemma. Has what we witnessed truly reflected the real conditions behind BTS's stage, or is it only an illusion deliberately built to provoke fans' emotions? This question cannot simply be ignored, for its impact reaches not only individual images, but also public trust toward the entertainment industry as a whole. We need to reflect seriously. Is it fitting for a world superstar like Jungkook to be treated without even the smallest respect of a birthday greeting from his company? Or is the absence of greeting not neglect, but a communication strategy deliberately crafted to stir public sympathy? If so, who truly controls this narrative, and who is the real victim? Every piece of information circulating on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter indeed looks convincing. But isn't that where the biggest danger lies? We all know how social media works. Algorithms do not distinguish fact from speculation. Could it be that what we see is only fragments cut, edited, and rearranged to create a dramatic story? If true, have we as readers and viewers been easily trapped in sensationalism? Taehyung mentioning Jungkook at Paradise Art Night could be seen as a sign of genuine solidarity. But can we fully dismiss the possibility that the moment was arranged, positioned, and choreographed carefully to create massive emotional effect? Why did it occur at an international event, not in an internal forum? Was Taehyung truly acting spontaneously, or was another force directing his movement? This question grows more vital, as the answer we choose determines how we interpret the entire chain of events. Furthermore, Jungkook's unending tears at his birthday moment indeed looked sincere. Yet, can we be sure that the tears entirely reflect personal suffering? Or were they manifestations of stage pressure, exhausting schedules, and ever-growing public expectations? Or even, could the tears themselves have been used as a symbol in a larger narrative, designed to collectively touch ARMY's hearts? Should we not question every detail before letting emotions rule our logic? ARMY worldwide now face a hard choice: to believe the narrative that HYBE always forces its artists to the point of neglecting their humanity, or to accept the possibility that this story is merely fabrication created to control public attention. If we lean toward the first option, do we have concrete proof beyond video clips and fragments of statements? And if we lean toward the second, are we ready to accept the bitter reality that our emotions may have been exploited by the industry? It must be underlined that much of the information spreading now comes from unofficial media. Video snippets on TikTok, long speculations on Twitter, and emotional narratives on YouTube all contribute to shaping perceptions that may be far from truth. Can we assess an event this big solely from sources with questionable credibility? Are we not being swept in a stream of opinions driven only by virality? On one hand, we cannot ignore the fact that Jungkook is an extraordinary global figure. If he truly was neglected by his company, this is unfair treatment, even shameful, for an entertainment giant like HYBE. On the other hand, if this entire narrative is merely the result of social media framing, then we are witnessing a phenomenon where truth is sacrificed for drama. So, could it be that what we believe is merely a constructed illusion? Another critical question arises: who truly benefits from this controversy? Jungkook, who receives massive emotional support from ARMY; Taehyung, seen as a true friend for his courage to defend? Or HYBE, which, though attacked, remains relevant as it continues to dominate global conversation? If all parties gain attention as profit, should we not suspect this drama may not be entirely coincidental? ARMY's emotional reaction is understandable. They have long supported BTS wholeheartedly, so every sign of injustice toward a member sparks great solidarity. Yet, is such an emotional reaction exactly what certain parties desire? Could ARMY shock be the main fuel that makes this narrative grow bigger? And if so, are we merely audience being directed to play roles in a larger drama? At this point, reflection becomes crucial. Readers must ask themselves, are we truly certain of every piece of information we consume? Have we ever tried tracing the origin of every video or article circulating? Or are we only relying on belief because the narrative aligns with our feelings? If so, are we aware that we risk objectivity just to satisfy emotion? Beyond celebrity news, this case mirrors how information works in the digital era. Facts and hoaxes can blend without clear boundaries. A fragment of words, a tear, or a stage moment can be transformed into convincing evidence. The question is, are we able to distinguish what is real and what is fabricated? Or will we keep allowing ourselves to drift in information flows without filtering? It cannot be denied that the message Jungkook entrusted to Taehyung is the most mysterious element of this entire issue. What was in that message? Was it truly a complaint about internal pressure and company injustice? Or was it something far more personal, later misinterpreted by the public? How can we be sure, while not a single authentic proof shows the content of their conversation? Are we only relying on collective imagination built through online discussions? Here lies the importance of skepticism. Skepticism does not mean rejecting everything, but critically questioning each piece of information. Why is an event presented in a certain way? Who spread it? And who benefits from its spread? If we fail to ask these questions, then we will only become victims of information manipulation. In the end, what matters most is collective awareness. ARMY and the wider public must dare to ask, are we truly seeing the truth, or only the reflection of a constructed narrative? Are we able to separate reality from drama? And are we critical enough to realize that not everything that touches our hearts is a representation of fact? With all the tension that is built up, this article invites readers to pause, hold their emotions, and reflect deeply. Do not rush to conclude that HYBE is truly guilty, or that all this is mere coincidence. Consider this. Is this story a real reflection of an artist's suffering, or is it only a scenario designed so we keep talking about them? The answer lies in readers' hands, but one thing is certain. Only with critical and reflective attitude can we approach the truth.